The one with the metaphorical tunnel is an interesting episode of Friends for me because when I sat down to watch this episode, I wasn't thinking that this is an episode I loved. It's not one of my favorites, but when I was watching it, there are actually a lot of things in this that I really enjoyed. So perhaps as an episode as a whole, it's not a favorite, but there are certainly highlights throughout it. This is the fourth episode of the third season of Friends, directed by Steve Zuckerman, and it actually starts off with one of my favourite Friends moments, and it's Joey as Kevin, who's trying to pour the milk properly. I just love it when we get to see bits of Joey's acting career, particularly his commercials. It's not my all-time favourite Joey commercial. I think there's only one contender for that title, but I loved it. It was a fun way to start the episode. As always, I will go through various plot points and talk about things I liked and didn't like. I don't think there was anything in this that I didn't like, though, and that means that there will, of course, be spoilers from this point on. So sticking with Joey, Joey misses an audition because of Phoebe, so Phoebe decides to help him out in a way that only Phoebe can, and I absolutely loved what she brought to this. I loved the role that she was playing. I loved the voice that she put on when she was on the phone, helping to get Joey his gigs, and I also liked how that part of the narrative concluded as well. I thought it was rather amusing and it worked really well. Definitely really good fun. Pretty much every character except Rachel had a decent story in this. Rachel wasn't really involved in that many, to be perfectly honest, but it still worked. Still worked really well. Ben has a Barbie doll. I think it's been a while since we've seen Ben. It might not have been that long, but it feels like a while. And Carol and Susan drop him off, and Ross is confused because Ben has a Barbie. I really like the fact that actually, even in 1996, they were saying that it's okay for a boy to have a Barbie. At no point did I feel like Ross's opinion was the show's opinion. I feel like the show was very much saying, Ross, you're an idiot. Let your son have a Barbie. What's the big deal? And that part of it, I really enjoyed. And I grew up with Barbies. I loved Barbie, and it just kind of briefly took me back to my childhood. And I'm really, really pleased with the way the show handled that. Also, a little bit before its time, I feel like, which was quite good. It's definitely something that they didn't focus on too much. It wasn't the main focus, but it got enough attention that I think they did a good job of getting the message across. Then, of course, we have Chandler. Monica as well actually doesn't have that much of a key story here. Monica and Rachel are very much in this to support Chandler because Chandler is scared of commitment, as we know, and he is unsure of where his relationship with Janice is going. So he has to make some decisions, but those decisions don't necessarily play out the way one would have expected. And I really enjoyed it. And also, Janice wasn't irritating in this. I love Janice. Amazing character. Maggie Wheeler is fantastic, but the character can sometimes be annoying. But in this one, she wasn't. And I found that to be really pleasing. I think Chandler also represents a lot of people in a lot of relationships at a lot of different stages. And I think we can all relate to him in this from one aspect or another, which is something as well that I think the show did very well. And it was really nice to have Rachel and Monica supporting him, and also kind of showing that actually the position Chandler was in was often the position that Monica and Rachel were in. And I liked the fact that it was showing that actually it could happen both ways. What we think is stereotypically the role that the woman falls into, the man can be in there too, or whatever. Which is another great way the show has stepped outside of stereotypes. Not that the show never has stereotypes. To be quite frank, it does on a lot of occasions. But as we see here, sometimes it likes to show different perspectives that we don't normally get, and I like that a lot. In terms of quotes, I don't think there are any that stand out to me. There are some Friends episodes that I quote on a daily basis that have become part of my regular vocabulary. This episode is not one of them, but that doesn't mean it's badly written or not very engaging or interesting to listen to. I still think it's a pretty fabulous episode. As I said when I sat down to watch it just now, I didn't immediately go, I can't wait to watch this, it's one of my favourites, but it still left me with a really warm, fuzzy, happy feeling, and honestly, it's still not one of my favourites, but there's nothing wrong with it. I enjoyed every second of it.